Hello everyone, and welcome to The Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Vorse, coming to you for a couple of remaining days from Europe, thanks to the generosity of some of our splendid benefactors. The church in most European countries, specifically formerly Catholic ones, has an entirely different kind of problem than the church in America. In America, and large parts of Canada as well as Australia, the church's main work lies with addressing large swaths of Protestants. In Europe, the inevitable end of Protestantism, which is atheism, has already been reached and is accelerating. So the curious case that is unfolding is that America is on the fast track to a place at which Europe has already arrived. The number of Americans who self-identify as atheists now stands at 2%, which is nearly double from 1990. But don't think that's good news. It doesn't automatically translate that 98% of Americans therefore believe in God, not by a long shot. What exists, as here in Europe, is a very soft, mushy middle, a large, mushy middle, where people transition from faith in God to belief in some amorphous spirit being with whom they have no relationship at all. Europe as a whole is already well on the way to rejection of any belief in God. In France, for example, where we are, formerly Catholic France, 33%, 1 in 3, are self-confessed atheists. But they didn't wake up one day and switch from Catholic to atheist. They transitioned from faith to a mere cultural faith, to no association with any specific religion, to a half-hearted sense of belief in some kind of spirit thing, and then eventually to atheism. To be sure, this is not the path of each individual, but it is the path of the culture at large, of the civilization of Europe taken as a whole. Different countries are migrating in this direction in varying fits and starts, but it is a fact that they are all moving in the same direction. In America, despite the mix of various cultures in the great melting pot, there is a kind of homogeneous American identity, a cultural self-view, molded largely by the media as well as liberal elites, which includes a particular kind of religious sellout, a theological Benedict Arnold. Since Catholicism has the fullness of faith given by our blessed Lord, the selling out of faith by Catholics is especially heinous. Yet that is what has happened for decades now. America is predominantly Protestant. Europe was predominantly Catholic. But since so much of the Catholic Church in America has sold its soul to accommodate Protestantism, and since Protestantism eventually leads to atheism, then what we have in the end is Catholics in America and Catholics in Europe arriving at the same point from two different destinations. Catholics in America via Protestantism, and Catholics in Europe straight to non-belief. Despite the different paths, there is a single solution for each. Catholics must reclaim their identity as Catholics. They must be Catholic again. Without this first, all other methods are a means to nothing else than more of the same, diminishing faith and increasing lack of faith. When Catholics in America rediscover Catholicism, then they can speak to the spiritual illness of Protestantism. When Catholics in Europe rediscover their faith, they can speak to the spiritual disease of atheism. In both cases, the first step is the same. Catholic Europe and Catholic America, rediscover yourselves. God love you. I'm Michael Vorse.
Please help us keep delivering these kinds of messages that so desperately need to be heard and acted on. Join RealCatholicTV.com today as a premium subscriber. Become immersed in the faith established by Jesus Christ. The Catholic Church is the only hope against evil because that is its God-given mission. As our Lord said, apart from me, you can do nothing. Join RealCatholicTV.com today as a premium subscriber and come to learn and love Christ more deeply.